calendar, which consists of item E1, City Commission special workshop minutes for December 10th, 2025. Item E2, City Commission regular minutes for December 17th, 2025. Item 3, December 2025 accounts payable. And we have any discussion regarding our consent calendar? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented.
I second that. Doris?
Honorable Endorsement.
Aye.
Honorable Redfern.
Aye. Aye.
Honorable Amanda Forster.
Aye.
Honorable Dustin Mitchell.
Carries unanimously. Move on to ordinances, resolutions, and zoning. Item number F1, discussion action. Resolution number 32/25-26 budget adjustment request. Our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Holguin.
Good morning, Commissioners, Mayor again, Mayor Pro Tem, and Commissioner. Kind of a little off because of our audit, but we're asking for a budget adjustment because of the freezer funding that we got from the SJOA, which is $100,000. Tracy was able to get that to us in time to put that on the agenda, and we're asking for approval to issue the bar. My stuff for any questions.
What was the value again? Sorry.
The freezer is 36,710, but it's covered because she got a grant for 100.
Okay.
So it's just moving money, it's transferring.
Sorry, yes, no.
Got it. I explained it.
Okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Commissioners, we're requesting approval of the bar pending your review and approval of the grant agreement that's on later on in the agenda.
Yeah, I just wanted a little further explanation so that it's clear to everyone. I think we got it. Thank you.
Look at me, I should be over there.
Yes. All right. Do we have any further discussion?
No, Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 32/25/26 budget adjustment requests.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. I have a motion and a second to start.
Honorable Ralph Hashler.
Aye.
Honorable Charles Glenn.
Aye.
Honorable Amanda Forster.
Aye.
Honorable Dustin Mitchell.
Aye.
Honorable Joe Hopper.
Motion carries unanimously. Item F2, discussion action. Publication of ordinance number 771, amending chapter 3 of the municipal code of ordinances pertaining to animals. Mr. Null, welcome back.
Good morning, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioners. So I made some changes based on the last workshop, last public comment, and clarified a few things, just kind of thinking about it in some discussion, not only with the chief, the city manager, but as well as the state livestock board. So the first thing, and I just want to preface this, just kind of working our way down, I made an adjustment to section 3-1, title and intent of the chapter. So it's important that we have a title and intent in our chapter for our city ordinances, right? Because the purpose of title and intent is to guide courts, community members, and city officials to interpret the ordinance. Basically, this is our goal for the ordinance and why it's written the way it is, okay? So the addition that I made is a secondary line on that title and intent that says it is further the intent of the city commission to promote responsible pet ownership and to encourage education and voluntary compliance with the provisions of this chapter, as well as ensure that enforcement is applied in a fair, effective, and humane manner. So we really can't change how the courts look at enforcement of our city code. We can look at how we treat it. The only way we're going to change the way that it's actually treated with enforcement is if we change from the courts to an administrative sort of hearing, or if we adjust our title and intent to teach our city officials and future officers, this is how we are interpreting this ordinance. We're looking for voluntary compliance, responsible pet ownership, and education of the code rather than strictly enforcement, right? You get a lot more bees with honey than with vinegar. And statistics actually show that educating people and giving them a chance to fix their issue is a lot more effective than simply giving them a fine, taking them to court, and putting them something on their record, right? So that's one change. The other change.
Let's stay there for,
Yeah, of course.
so we'll stay on that point again. So again, in our conversations, if you remember, we did have public comment about the code and then, having a problem with an animal and it going on the civil and being a misdemeanor and lingering on someone's record. So we really did go back. We had comments from Mr. Oliver. I was able to meet with him. And so we looked through the items again, working with Jay, the chief, just agree that based on state law, the way the law is written, the fact that we have to use the magistrate court for our adjudication process, there's just no way to get around it until we come up with, as Mr. Knoll said, a different process. So again, our comments from administration is we heard the comment, we listened, we attempted to, and we still, I'm so pleased with the language that we have in the intent, which would something that we probably need to look through as we do other ordinances to make sure that on a regular basis, we're carrying out the intent of the commission. You could have a commission that hypothetically would say, you know, we want to be stricter, we want more enforcement, or we want less, but the intent is the goal, and it should set the pace for which enforcement happens. So this was our best workaround to try to make sure that people understood. We're really hoping people just have good pet ownership. We're not looking to interfere.
I think really the general philosophy always has been that before we even file, a complaint against anybody in magistrate court, you're always trying to work with people. I mean, I think in almost any of our code cases, for example, we're always trying to give notice to people first before we file. Here's what needs to happen. So there's always a philosophy of working with people before something is filed in court. That's always how we've always done it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how we've always done it. This is simply just putting pen to paper and saying, this is exactly what we intend to do. And of course, as a commission, you guys can change that intent. That intent can always be changed, but this is the way we were looking at it now, this current commission and current code enforcement officers. This is the way we look at it. And we figured it would be nice for the public to see pen to paper. This is what we intend to do with this revision. So second change, and I know this one's really, really back and forth, is change to section 3-90, livestock running at large. So you guys have received two different proposal A and proposal B. Actually, I'm not sure if they're labeled as proposal A, proposal B, exhibit A, exhibit B, however they're labeled. So A and B.
Yeah.
So A, proposal A, exhibit A, however you want to look at it, is what my professional recommendation would be to utilize. And I'll explain why in a little bit. Proposal B, exhibit B, that was simply to give you guys as a commission a secondary option to look at to say, you know what, we prefer this. You guys can completely do something different than what we have. These are just simply based on listening to public comments and things like that. Understanding New Mexico is a fence out state, I contacted the New Mexico State Livestock Board State Supervisor. He advised us that fence out does not apply within a municipality. Fence out is simply for unincorporated areas of counties. So if you look, you guys have actually received chapter 77-14-7, livestock running at large when unlawful, impounding, disposition, super damages. It is unlawful for owners of livestock to willfully allow livestock to run at large within the town, conservancy district, irrigation district, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's right there. It doesn't apply for fence out within a municipality. Necessity for fence 77-16-1 is also attached, and it's highlighted in the annotations that the Supreme Court of the state has ruled fence out doesn't apply within communities. Talking with the livestock board, they will not respond within a municipality because it's the municipality's authority to enforce the code as they have it. So, however we end up going with section 3-90 is the way that we're expected to enforce that. Nobody else is going to come and help enforce us. So we have to look at it from how can we fairly, impartially enforce these codes. Proposal A is, like I said, my professional recommendation to utilize. It keeps the same language for animals running at large and livestock running at large. Understanding that we are an agricultural community, which is why I changed the title and intent to help explain across the board. We're not going to cite first offense. We don't plan to. If we have to, we will. We're going to try to educate you, get voluntary compliance first. If we go with proposal B or add anything extra, such as willfully to match state statute, things like that, we have the ability to make our code for that section almost unenforceable and unfair to other animal owners, such as, dog and cat owners that may have dogs and cats running at large and say, well, I want that insertion of willful or habitual into my code, right? Why do livestock owners get special privileges? I think that we can exercise our discretion as officers to be able to figure out when something is actually violating a code, as opposed to trying to prove owner's intent, which Attorney Rubin has already stated previously is a very hard thing to do. and discussions with the chief of his experience with trying to enforce willfully, even in a state statute level, it's extremely difficult to prove an owner's intent.
What page are they on ours? I know they're 25 in the thing, but what is that on ours?
Which one, the statute or
The difference between exhibit A and exhibit B.
it should still be page
I know.
25. On yours, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, it's on there,
Oh, I get you.
on the sheet. I wouldn't.
And you might have to go down because you're going,
So exhibit A is 101 and 107.
Yeah, exhibit A is 101.
There, I'm gonna tell you the next one. It's a lot of scrolling. Okay, it should be 175.
Yeah, there's a lot of scrolling.
Okay, and then the next one's 175 for animals running at large, right? Livestock running at large.
Okay, do we have any questions?
Well, and I would just make the observation, Officer No, I believe from I think you sent us a subsequent memoranda, and I believe that you're in support of exhibit A.
correct,
Yes, right.
that's correct.
And I know you and I have maybe a little bit of dispute regarding the word willfully, that's fine. I totally agree that I think exhibit A actually is the way to go. The only reason why I had suggested putting willfully in there is, as you've already pointed out, because that's what the state statute says. So I always like for us to be consistent with the state, but you're absolutely right. We don't have to do that. I mean, we have the right to be more restrictive or less, however we feel is appropriate for our city conditions. So again, I would say, again, I like being consistent with the state. That's up to the commission to make the decision whether you want to have that in there. Let me just make one interesting observation about that point, though.
Okay, 101 is not that page for the exhibit that we're looking at for the animals running at large. Sorry.
It's okay.
What is that page?
This one, 175.
Okay, yeah, that's the second one, but what, okay, I cannot freaking find. Sorry, I want to like to look at both of them. Okay. And I would like the commission to. Okay, 125 is two differences, 125 and 175.
And what Officer Noel and I are talking about is on, if you look at the first one, where it says is unlawful for the owners of livestock to allow. The state statute inserts the word willfully before the word allow. That's what we've been talking about. But again, though, I mean, you don't have to do that because the state is, and I get that. But let me just mention one more thing, though. If we were looking at Exhibit B, on letter I, you had a provision in there that an owner or responsible party shall not be in violation of the section when livestock escape unintentionally. So actually, you are kind of giving an exemption there where you would have to prove willfully if we were to go with Exhibit B. But again, nonetheless, I mean, if the commission votes with Exhibit A, with the way Officer Knowles drafted it, I mean, I won't have any major issue with that. So it's up to the commission how you want to go.
Okay. I don't like the second one anyways, all those, it was too hard to understand.
The definitions.
Yeah, that was,
I get
I
you.
like to leaving it like this, but I do like Jay's support in adding willfully allow. That is my stance.
Okay, any further comments?
We're talking about exhibit A.
What?
Exhibit A, we're adding willfully allow.
I would like to allow willfully. I think it gives yes, I understand your discretion at that, but that would just enforce that discretion. If even with livestock or any animal, if they willfully are letting them out because they didn't fix the fence or something, but if it's accidentally, I mean, I don't know. Those are just my stance. I think I like the willfully. It goes along with state statute. I know we can be more strict, but why?
Right, and the issue is, like I said, we actually had to adjust some other sections that had the word deliberately and willfully because it's hard to prove owner's intent. So it would basically be hard to enforce the code. We couldn't really enforce it. So discussions with the chief state statute for reckless driving says willfully. It's very, very hard to get a conviction for reckless driving because you can't prove owner's intent unless you have something from them saying, I meant to do that. So if we insert the word willfully, I understand where you guys are coming from. And I understand what state statute says. It's gonna make it really, really hard to enforce that code. And I would caution against changing it to match again with animals running at large, because we may have to give them that same exemption and it may just cause a steep decline. I'm trying to keep a modern balance within the code to make sure that we're equal across all animals. So we're actually one of the only municipalities that splits livestock running at large and animals running at large. Every other municipality kind of keeps them the same and says, your animals stay in your yard. We're a municipality. We want you to keep your animals in the yard. Understanding that accidents happen, that's how we treat things. That's why we adjusted our intent.
You know, if I could just say one thing about that, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but I'm not so sure by not adding willfully to 389, you're actually being inconsistent, because I think, you know, you're making a distinction. Okay, we're talking about that you have to have a higher standard in improving in livestock, but we're talking about like just people having their own pets. We do want to be more careful there, you know, so I don't mind not having willfully in 389 and putting it in 390. So that's what that was my thought. Yeah.
Attorney Rubin, can you construe willfully as if someone has a repeat offense several times? Can we construe willful in that?
You know, we have to a judge to make the determination, but I think that the more times it happens, the more you're showing that it is willful, that you're just not really taking, you're not taking care of a problem. Yeah.
Mayor, if I could, we discussed it and just thinking through it, right? First of all, you kind of have to, this is a tough one, right, for the ag community. You have to live with the fact that the fence out, it's a fence out state is my stance, just doesn't work for us. And I've been concerned about that, right? Again, an animal ends up on a city street in the middle of the night and a tourist, a driver, a visitor is driving through to get gas, is unknown and runs into a cow. It's not the same as being in Winston, New Mexico, or Engle, any of those places where you know that you're in that area. So there could potentially be city liability, right? Our intent would be to say, potentially, if your animals continue and to enter and cause damage, I have to advocate for some of those residents that end up with their fences that they have to fence out being tore down by an animal. If that continues, we need the ability for that person to recognize they may need to build a fence to solve that problem, because it's just not a fence out and it's our obligation to do so. So that's the piece I do need you to think a little bit about, is it's really not so much, you know, my goat gets out and runs across the street. It's really the constant animals that run through the street. And I'll share with you, it happened Monday morning. We started Monday morning out with 2 cows right on Broadway, right? And we were lucky we moved them. There was a city truck behind me. Wes was behind me, and I went one way and he went the other, and they both went down the street. And by the time we called Tyler and say, hey, and he said they've already called it in and they've called the permittee and they're on their way. Beautiful, right? We all went on to work. And I think that's going to happen more than not. And so we need that ability to say, you just can't be on the city streets every other day, because it's those citizens that don't want that need some relief from us to be able to support them as well. So.
Yeah, I get it. I know we're having that problem, but what is the difference in putting willfully in this to match that? And not like they willfully came and fixed the issue.
Sure.
And again, I've stated to both I am fully have all my trust in you guys, but you guys are not always here. We're not always here. And we might get a chief next week that's like, we are absolutely not good. We have a 4-H kid that their pig gets loose and we're citing that family. Like, willfully, I would feel more comfortable for our constituents. And how do we distinguish that, yes, Engle and Winston, but we have all along the Rio Grande, and those people are in the county, and when River's down, then you have cattle coming. Those are county follows that fence out, and then here, so I would just feel
I
that's
guess I would
my
add,
vote, is just willfully.
as we think through it, let me just add, the willful determination would happen at adjudication.
Right.
Right, period. What you would do potentially, if this continued to happen day after day after day, and finally there was a citation issued, then that permittee potentially, let's use that as the example, right? Because that's the realist that they're coming across the river. they may get relief, right? They're gonna say, no problem, we're not gonna cite you, do something about it, do something. Eventually, you would hope that somebody would then solve that problem, right? So that's where willfully might be the best word to do, where after a while, the citation would come because we just have to do something, but it is gonna be up to the judge to then decide, is that inconsistent with law or whatever those items, so. I think I would advocate for following the recommendation of Tyler, of what we've done, stick with the state law and then just use the word willfully if we can.
I agree with that.
And of both recommendations, I would recommend inserting willfully over going over proposal B.
No, I
So-
think proposal B, so
Yeah.
I'm in full
Yeah.
agreement.
In other words, exhibit A, totally the way it is, except adding the word willfully in that one place.
Yeah, so I would almost say
Before,
exhibit A with willfully or exhibit A without willfully would be where I would stand.
yeah, I don't like B either.
I would think that if you wrote a citation and the judge determined that it wasn't a willful act, the second time you write a citation,
Right.
it will probably become a willful act because you've had that court experience, right?
Theoretically, unless the judge determined that they're not guilty and it could be a new guilty occurrence, and that's very possible. So it could go either way. It's a toss up. It's really up to the judge to
But
determine
it
that.
would make, it's up to the judge's discretion, but it would make sense to me that if I were
Right.
one time to keep my cows off somebody's
Yes.
property and it happened again,
Right.
there might be a little more tendency there to say that that was a willful act because you didn't
Right.
take care of it. So
Right.
I think I'm comfortable with that.
And I know our nuisance problem, and I am not advocating in any way for that. I am advocating for things that have happened unwillfully.
Right.
As at the fair, where we've had cows get out and pigs get out and things. And again, I'm fully aware that you guys at this point will not do anything, but I would like to put willfully in there so that we have those people protected.
Section 3-1, you talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That's my.
So here's what we can do. In a motion, we can request that. And knowing that we're still gonna go for 30 more days before we publish it. So we can hear back one more
That's
time.
really over this publication.
So with that in mind, if we want to move to that point, we can make that motion to include willfully. And then we'll hear back from the public for the next 30 days, and then we'll include that in our final discussion when we do the final publication.
Yes.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry.
excuse me, our intent today would be for the commission to direct us on primarily this which way, left or right. Do you agree with the language that we put in for that? And if you do, we would then republish the clean ordinance now for the 30 days. And then at the next meeting from 30 days from now, we'd have a public hearing on that ordinance. The language wouldn't change, and then potential adoption. So I think we're saying the same.
We're saying the
So
same.
that's our.
That's, if that's
This
clear.
containment on
Yeah.
Do I want to make this?
Yes.
Okay, I move to approve publication of ordinance 771 with the changes to,
Wait,
oh,
please.
do we have another one?
There's one more issue.
I was gonna say, my bad.
The intent on sale versus
Oh, yeah,
sale.
Oh, yes. So,
way to go.
no, you're fine. So we do already have this adjustment published. Sale of animals, it's 3-95 off the top of my head. Mind you, my brain is spinning with
It's on
numbers.
28 of our,
So after listening to former Commissioner Falls and Commissioner Forrester's comments from the meeting regarding sale of animals, as well as everybody else's comments on that, I did go ahead and adjust the language for sale of animals in public. So, place, solicit information and basically tell people, hey, I have these animals that I'm trying to rehome, adopt out, things like that. But it clarifies that no actual rehoming or sale of animals can take place on anything but private property or properly licensed property. So nothing can happen in public other than solicitation of the interest for it.
I
And
think
then that
that's a
way,
good meet in the middle between,
right,
we don't want people,
And someone in the future is not gonna come in and determine that this means we can't have a fair.
right,
right.
well, that's,
I saw money
Private
changing
property.
hands in the park.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying,
I think that
And I think the intent from administration was, we're not looking to say you can't rehome animals if that's what you want to do. Just if there's a box of puppies at the fair, right, or at those places, that they have the ability to say you need to take the animals back home, and then you could set up a booth and do that. So
Right.
I agree. I thought Tyler made a nice compromise here to solve that particular issue. Did we leave the language in for our animal shelter could do it?
Yes, we did leave the language in. The animal shelter does have the exemption as well as other.
if they're
property license.
properly licensed. for
Right.
doing
Like
that.
Desert Haven.
Exactly. So Desert Haven, the animal shelter, if we're in the future to get another animal welfare nonprofit, something like
Adopting
that.
events.
Right, they're still able to conduct their business as usual, but they're also still gonna be subject to any other city licensing, things like that. That doesn't exempt them from that. This is simply for animal welfare nonprofits, things like that. They have their exemption, and then policy-wide, throughout the city, how we want to adjust that.
And what we talked about is to leave the language in, and it would really be based on the city manager's feeling, right? Like, so again, if I don't think it's proper for the animal center to take animals to, on an event because the public can't do it, that's going to be just a policy provision that each city manager could do. Otherwise, it is permitted by the code without exception. So
Sounds good.
those are the three items that would be asking that you accept, move on, and then authorize republication with it in its final format with those changes.
Okay, let's see if I can do this. I bet I can.
Good job.
All right. Are we good for a motion now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to approve publication of ordinance number 771, amending section 3-90 to add the word willfully in front of allow. Right?
Under exhibit A.
Under exhibit A, keeping exhibit A, changing that, and everything else is good.
I second that.
Okay, Honorable Amanda Forster.
Aye.
Honorable Destiny Mitchell.
Aye.
Honorable Ingo Hopner.
Aye.
Honorable Chaz Klein.
Aye.
Honorable Ralph Haskell.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
Thank you both.
Because you have 8 goats and they get out.
Okay. Moving on to new business.
All the what ifs.
Yeah.
E1, discussion regarding possible revision of municipal golf course fees. Mr. Pecoric. Welcome.
Good morning, Mayor Pro Tem, Commissioner, and thank you for the board support. Be patient with me, I may be short of breath. Thanks for letting us address this today. When resolution 3121/22 was adopted, there was 45 members on roll at the golf course. Today, as far as I know, there are only 5 members on roll. That was because the fees were increased by 40 to 60% with that resolution. And of course, the course being neglected for many years. There was a lot of items left out of resolution 3121/22. No concern for snowbirds. They eliminated the 1 month and 3 month fees. And the other things like high school golf team play free, annual cart storage for private carts, just to mention a few. The removal of the $1 Golf Improvement Fund, the GIF, aka sign-in fee for members, was a big revenue loss when the course which the course never got to utilize because it disappeared with this resolution 3121/22. Last Tuesday, Bob gave me a tour of the work that has been done on the golf course, and I was impressed with what they have accomplished, and I am looking forward to playing. With the lower fees and the course getting back in shape, thanks to Bob's work and his crew and Gary's support, we might increase play, bring back memberships, and maybe even get some elk and boot players. Our board recommends you using resolution 08/2018/2019 as a reference of the golf course when it was somewhat prosperous, or just use that resolution. In summary, the board feels unanimously that the course getting playable again, lowering the fees thanks to Bob and Gary. We feel it would bring back more revenue and income, and it would take some of the burden off the municipal golf course. And I'll stand for any questions. And I have copies of the resolution 08/2018/2019, if you'd like to see them. I also have a copy of resolution 31/21/22, which is very scant compared to that one.
We have resolution 02/21/22.
Okay, good.
02, which one did you say?
Is that the one you're referring to, our current one?
Yes, the current one.
Yeah, it's in that.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions? Any discussion?
The resolution we have in our packet doesn't say what our current fees are though. It just has rental of the clubhouse. So, yeah, I would like to. Can we?
I can tell you though.
Okay, let's do that.
The daily fees currently for 9 holes to walk the course is $14. It's $21 with a cart. $20 for 18 holes, $31 with a cart.
Whoa, slow down. 18 holes walking is how much?
20,
Okay,
$31 if you rent a cart,
and 9 holes with the cart.
$21. Then weekends, the rates go up to $16 for 9 holes.
Okay, do we have Twilight?
We have a Twilight at
Okay, what,
$12 on the weekdays,
walking?
walking,
Okay,
$20 with a cart.
thank you.
We'll go down the weekend and holidays.
Done. Do you have juniors?
Juniors pay $10 for 9 or 18 holes walking.
Oh, and then ride?
$15 if they ride and they have to have a valid driver's license.
So that's the same as it used to be then?
That could be.
Okay. Golf team, are we still free for the golf team?
It's not on here, but yes,
Okay,
the kids,
Yeah.
we currently allow the kids to participate for free. So if we do anything with the high school, even to the extent the football team did a team building day and Bob made arrangements so they could all walk and play and be on the facility.
and do we offer, the men and women's leagues still?
We have a men's league, that's participating. We do.
And what do we charge them?
We don't charge them anything. They pay just regular fees.
Okay,
then if they-
because we gave them a league rate before.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you said weekends?
Weekends, mhm.
So we didn't used to charge anybody any different for weekends. According to this ordinance.
Okay.
Okay, what are the weekend ones?
16, let me do just the walking, okay?
Okay,
16, 22, Twilight 14.
Okay.
And then add a cart would be 23, 33, and 22.
that's
It's so complicated.
It's golf.
It's a gentleman's game.
I have only ladies forbidden.
Yeah.
I coach women's golf, don't say that. It's the best.
Are you currently coaching women's golf? Maybe you need to be.
No,
I'll keep that in mind. Okay,
So we are suggesting to go back to these other fees?
Yes,
Okay. I don't see how, we used to charge $10.45 and we bumped it up to 20.
well, it was 12. Make sure
Oh, gotcha.
she's giving it with the tax and the GIF, so make sure.
Okay.
So it was $12 for walking and now it's 14.
Okay,
So
so it's still, doesn't look like a 40% increase. Are we talking about member fees? That's where we went up? We went up a lot. Is that where the 40 to 60% increase was?
yes.
on
And that was
membership
some of
fees.
it.
Okay, so maybe we need to look at that then. So we did away with single month membership? Or we still have those memberships?
I understand it's not on the list, but there's no 1 month membership only.
So what do we offer?
We offer an annual and a biannual, so 6 months or a year.
Okay, and our
annual for do we have those rates?
The annual rate is $1,040 for the whole year for a single person.
Okay, so those jumped,
Without a card.
those jumped up significantly, correct? Because 1 month for a single was,
$100.
no,
10.16.
592.
Oh, God, down here.
Mhm.
That was 1 month single, so we're talking an annual fee,
Yes.
annual single, 592, so we, yeah, doubled it.
And we don't offer month or 3 months, so that's hurting our snowbird membership. Okay. Can we not decide on anything today? Can we get something drafted like that as maybe a recommendation on we would like to have a 1 month, this is what we would like to charge for it. We'd like to have a 3 month, this is what we'd like to charge for it. We'd like to have an annual, this is what we like to charge for it.
I would like to suggest that maybe we do a workshop with the golf staff and the board and any commissioners that want to give input, and Gary, obviously, and maybe come up with something, a new resolution instead of reverting back to the old, but
Well, because today you wouldn't be approving any kind of resolution. Your motion would be to either, like you guys said, do a workshop, recommend working with staff on changes, or just leaving it the way it is.
Yeah, I think if we just directed staff to work with them and come up with one that's kind of maybe in the middle, we don't need to revert back to fees of 2018, but maybe we meet in the middle somewhere. And I think Gary can handle that. I guess if you wanted to go, you could, but.
Yeah, I would chime in and say Mayor Pro Tem staff, again, coming on board, when I was hired, you effectively told me to fix the golf course. So, working on the fees that we charge has not been a priority, right?
Right.
There's really many other things. Let me be clear with you. To date, we've brought in $9,900 this year. Okay. I don't think, I've been doing this a long time, and this will be contrary to the public comment here, but I don't think the fees are why people don't play there. People don't play there because it was just not in shape. It's not any place. I have a lot of friends that I talk to all over the Southwest that would love to come back and play golf here, but when they drive by on the freeway and they saw it was dirt, they didn't stop. I think part two, I think there's a lot of people that do play at Sierra del Rio that would love to play there some days and then come over. So I don't want to lose focus here that the most important thing is for us to get the golf course green, get 9 greens that we can play on, get it looking better so that it's playable. And that's my focus. I was asked when I got here to look at the 1 month and the 3 month, and that used to be a real solid thing. And I agree with that. I think that should be an option for somebody, somebody like myself. I don't like to play in the winter. I'm just not. So it's silly that I would spend 6 months worth of money to be wasteful. So if I wanted to do that, right? So I think that's a reasonable position. We should go back and look at that. But for looking at something to reduce the fees, I'm just not gonna be in favor of that, because my proposal during the budget process is really gonna be to say, so this year we've put 300,000 from the general fund into the golf course. We've put 50,000 from the lodger's tax. My ask in the budget is going to be, let's lock ourselves into those investments into the golf course, because we have to keep it open. We know how to work it, but let's take the revenue that we generate off sales and golf and use that as an additional dollar. So instead of bringing that dollar back, if we raise $25,000 this year off all of our fees and our memberships and our play, next year the budget would be 375,000, right? So that gives the golfer, that gives Bob or whoever's managing the course an incentive to keep it going. Let's get people playing. But I definitely agree, we need more opportunities for people to play. And I think the 1 month and the 3 month, I agree those should be added. But reducing the fees,
Well, I don't
I'm
think they're
sorry,
outrageous.
we are the cheapest.
Right.
If we get it nice and stay at those, and I think we should stay at those rates for a couple of years, right? As we invite people back to our community to see what we've done, if we get it, when we get it going, that probably should stay for 3 or 4 years at that rate, just so that we bring people back and they enjoy the cup. Because it's $75 to play golf at Sierra Del Rio in a week.
So
And you can't, and you have to,
I love that, Gary. I don't think we should revert back to 2018 prices. But I think we definitely need to look at those memberships, and maybe is that fee, like what does Sierra Del Rio charge for an annual fee?
I think they're offering a fee at about 4,000. I'd have to go look, and I'll reach out to them. We'll look at that. I don't think we should compare ourselves, but
Right, no, yeah.
but I do think there could be some discounts in those annual fees. I'd really like to go look at it based on what is a normal golfer, how many times would an annual golfer play during the week, right? And it kind of evaluated against what are our daily structure. So, and maybe there would be a way to reduce the annual, the biannual, 3 months and the annual, so that we do get more members, because we do need that, right? We need people to say, here's my $1,200, guys, keep working. So I think that's the area where we could do it. I am a huge fan of making sure that kids can play. That's a great teaching facility. We're not interfering with folks. So that's, we need to make sure that the kids can play at the right rate. And on a side, like I want to do something at the swimming pool, right? We're not making any more revenue at the swimming pool. So we just need to make it so kids can enjoy those dollars that we're putting into these areas, right? So
I like those adjustments.
So I'll work with Ron. I mean, we can sit down in the board and come up with something, but again, reducing fees, I just want to be really firm. I'm not a fan to say, let's just drop the prices to something that we shouldn't, but we could find a balance here on those.
We didn't do ourselves any favor when we increased our fees and then let the golf course deteriorate. That just, it sent filters the wrong messages. And now that we've kind of got the reverse attitude, we're going to fix that golf course up, and it's going to take more money. And so we're never going to be self-sufficient, right? Golf course is never going to make money, but we got to mitigate the cost as much as we can.
Let me point out to you on that point, right, Bob, we've ran the numbers, right? Just to get back to the 350, we'd have to run 40 rounds of golf every day, 6 days a week. So if we stayed with the current calendar, 40 rounds of golf at somebody paying the full rate. And we just at walking, we didn't have the cart because that's a separate. So 40 rounds a day, we get 4, 5 right now. Sundays, none. So we're a long ways, and 40 every day.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people that have to go through there for us to get back to pay to even break even. So.
And I agree with you. I think playability is the most important thing that we do golf course right. So yes.
What about the GIF, the Golf Improvements Fund? That was a $1 sign-in fee for members. Some courses called green fees.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that should be put back in there, and that's to help.
I was the creator of that when that happened. So the only reason I would say I don't want to put that back in is it was a little bit of an accounting problem, right? Because you got to keep it separate.
Yep.
And what I'm proposing is that we
they
take
all go, and
every dollar,
dollar.
every single dollar that comes in is added to the base of 350. And as commissioners, every year, no matter what, we're going to invest 350, and then we're going to up it based on how much revenue the golf course does. So all the dollars that are generated aren't going to be tried to offset and pay back the general fund. They're going to say, if all we do is raise $18,000 this year, I'm going to say the budget for next year is going to be $368,000 based on that, right? And so that's where,
Yeah, as a member, when I was a member. I didn't, and you didn't have the sign-in fee. I could just go out on a golf course and go play without signing in. That's why I had put in here an AKA sign-in fee for the members.
it's not normal. So anyone that's coming on the golf course and just going out there violating what should be our ordinance, our rules should require that you come in. Same with disc golf.
Yeah.
We're getting a little bit of that too. There's a process in golf. Anyone that plays golf knows when you come to a golf course, you go into the pro shop, you sign in, you pay your fees, you do everything, because you can't just walk out. If we're busy, you can't just go get in the way of another set of golfers that are teeing off. So member or not, the rules have always been, you have an obligation to come into the pro shop and sign in. That's a standard.
I think we need to know who's on our golf
Yeah,
course.
absolutely.
And when they're on our golf course. So,
We have the same restrictions with the swimming pool. You can't enter, even if you're not swimming, you can't go into the facility if you don't sign in, because for safety reasons, we have to know the capacity and where everybody's at, or that they're in.
All right, I think
Commissioner,
I'm
I
ready to
assure you
make
the
a
state
motion.
says that, so.
Okay, I will make a motion to let Manager Whitehead work with our
Right.
advisory board and determine what he feels is a good fees and come back and we'll vote on it.
do I have a second?
I second it.
Second is Doris.
Honorable Ingo Hopner,
Aye.
Honorable Chaz Klein,
Aye.
Honorable Ralph Fishman, Honorable Amanda Forster,
Right.
Honorable Destiny Mitchell.
Very unanimous.
Thank you.
We'll go quick.
Item G2, discussion actions, approval of purchase requisitions over 60,000. Ms. Hogan?
Hello again. This one was based on a sole source I initially did for the meters that we're using in our water projects. And, the company is Landis & Gear, and I will defer to Tracy for any more questions.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Commissioners. Thank you, Betsy. As you guys know, we are doing the CDBG water meter project. That's actually set to go to bid at the end of this month. And we will hopefully get a contractor and start replacing some of the approximately 900 water meters that will put them on an AMI system similar to our electric. On the front side of that, we have to have the system implemented at the utility billing office so that those reads go into the utility billing and they're able to process their monthly bills based on the AMI. So with that, this agreement with Landis & Gear, which is, Jocelyn said, is the same one that's doing the electric. This is the payment for them to come in and implement and do the training for the billing side. And this is not being paid for out of CDBG funds. We're paying for this out of our Colonias funds for our shovel ready project. Because as noted, any of our water projects that we have in the various funds, any meters within that project will also be being updated to AMI. And so with that, we'll stand for any questions, or if city manager has anything to add.
Okay, makes sense. Commissioners, any questions?
Just for full transparency, again, right, the electric meters are, those were done, the vision was that water meter using the same network. So that's the reason and the allowance for the sole source, right? We're using a provider that we're already paying and under contract with. And then we've got this back in order, so we're really excited to get this done.
It's the most seamless operation that we can do.
It's most seamless. It's costing us $60,000 to get the computer module. It cost us $1,800 to get the last transmitters to be in space. That we're using the same network, so really cost effective.
I think that's important. Okay, do we have any further discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve, resolution number 32/25/26, final budget adjustment request as presented.
It's purchase requisition.
Oh, I'm in the wrong one. You said it says right here.
It's to
G2.
page 208.
We're on
G2.
G2.
Sorry. Okay, sorry.
No, you're okay.
And then it's. I don't
To
make the
approve
motion.
purchase requisition
Over
over
$60,000.
60,000
I
as
apologize.
presented, yeah.
As presented. And it's on the wrong page.
I'll second the motion.
Honorable Destiny Mitchell,
Aye.
Honorable Ingo Hopner,
Aye.
Honorable Taz Bryan,
Aye.
Honorable Ross Hesper,
Aye.
Honorable Amanda Forster.
Item G3, discussion update, 2026 Colona's Infrastructure Fund application cycle. Alvarez?
Thank you, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem Commissioners. It's that time of year again. Colonias application cycle is open. We have currently 3 Colonias awards that we are working on, and we're getting ready to apply for a 4th. Our intent is to put in 2 application intents. One of them would be for Marie Street at approximately 1.5 million, I think is what we discussed, with a secondary application going in for our electric department, which would be some replacement of poles and a conductor. And that would be right around the 5 million. And so through the Colonias process, we submit a notice of intent telling Colonias what we're interested in applying for. And then if we make the next run, we come back to you guys with the application. You guys have to approve a resolution allowing us to submit the application. And then, of course, it comes back to you at least 1, if not 2 more times if we do get awarded. So we're just kind of giving you an update. The notice of intents are due today. It was a very short opening cycle. And so with that, I'll turn it over to City Manager or stand for questions.
Mayor Pro Tem Commission, right now these applications are coming in quick and have to be kind of responded. Again, we came in last week and they want the information today. So we've been trying in the office to work off the ICIP list. What are the areas we're working in? So Marie Street being the other 2 problems we have, we could apply for water, but with Colonias, it's going to come with a loan component. So we felt like streets, when we started, streets would be our best endeavor to try to go. Marie Street's in our top 5 capital improvements list. So we felt like, let's see if we can't get some money for that. It is eligible. And then Bo works a lot with the South Central Council of Governments. He's been working with Gwynn as a grant writer. And so they feel like there's an opportunity to get some money for electric. Electric is hard to find grant dollars. Again, so when we met, we just agreed, let's just divide it. Let's put 2. The challenge with, we could put 3 applications in, but we just end up competing against ourselves. So that's the reason we settled on applying for 2, allowing electric to apply for $5 million application where it's eligible for up to that. The electric department could match that. We could afford a loan from them. And Bo his vision for the project would be just pole and conductor, new lines, new poles throughout the system. And 5 million would make a nice dent in what we're doing. So.
I know that we're also asking for improvements for Marie Street through capital.
Correct.
So I guess whichever one we get first, we'll go with.
Exactly. That's where we came with the 1.5. If we can get the 500 from the legislature to plan, design, construct, we can add it to this and potentially get the whole road. And then we're looking at with the Colonias, we could even improve we want to do the water lines underneath as well. So that's the way we'll write the Colonias, is to improve the water lines. The main water lines that we have on Marie Street are on the west end. They're the ones that come, the affluent. We have an affluent line that comes down Marie Street. We have the main trunk line that fills the 2 tanks on Cemetery that come down. So, and it only comes down from the end of Marie to Copra. So it's not, and so we don't have a lot of connections there. It's just main line. So it'd be an easy installation there to fix those.
Yeah. Thank you. This is a discussion item only, but any further discussion? Okay, no action to be taken.
Mr. Mayor, I wonder if I could just clarify something that and actually we just took a moment because I was trying to make sure my notes were compatible with what we just did on G2, where we approved the purchase requisitions over 60,000. I'm looking at the agenda request form. The recommendation was please see the attached purchase item list. Is that just the letter? Is the next page? Is that the list or I wasn't sure exactly what it was that I was looking at.
It's where it shows what the PO is in there.
We should have been a little more specific on our motion.
I want to be sure I know what that list is.
The list is on the requisition.
Yeah.
The 2 items. the AMI project delivery service meter at 64,808.25, and the implementation of training for the two-way water meters for 4,876.88.
The total is 59,655.13, isn't it?
It's only.
Okay. Right. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I just want to make sure that the list was okay. All right. Sorry.
It's still okay with our motion since there's only one item.
Okay.
Move on to item G4, discussion action, SJOA emergency funding appropriation. It's a grant agreement. Ms. Alvarez, you're up again.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Commissioners. The SJOA has been experiencing problems with both of their walk-in fridge freezer units. They reached out to Aging and Long Term, sounded like there was some additional funding available for emergency requests. So we had to act on that quickly. We had to submit in the request. The mayor signed off on that application to get it in. We actually received a turnaround quite quickly for the grant, which also had to be executed and turned back in as quick as possible. So the grant agreement was executed by the mayor as well through city management approval. And what we're bringing to you is just to accept and approve that executed grant agreement so we can proceed forward as quickly as possible with procuring services to get at least one of their units repaired. They did receive funding in the last capital outlay process to go towards a secondary unit. We just may have to combine a couple of their funding sources to equal. So this grant amount was $36,710. They submitted a quote for they received quotes and submitted their lowest quote in to get this funding. And then there was actually a reduction again. So I think it came in at like 32 for their, that's kind of included in my stuff. Potentially just a couple $100 in savings underneath that we should be able to get those repaired.
Okay,
So
good. All right, do we have any discussion? We're just acting as a fiscal agent, basically.
correct.
So,
Money's flowing. Well, we're assisting, we're working with the Council of Governments as well with the SJOA and really trying to give them some support and obtaining quotes and kind of taking a little bit of that burden off. But yes, we're the fiscals for those.
yes, ma'am. Thank you. Okay. Is there any further discussion?
No.
Having none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept.
we can make our newbie to make a motion.
Oh, yeah. You can do the next one. To accept the grant agreement for SGOA emergency funding as presented.
Do I have a second? Okay, Doris?
Honorable Forrester. Honorable Dustin Russell. Honorable Ingle Hopman.
Aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. G5, discussion action, acceptance of the water and wastewater cost of service and rate design study. Whitehead.
Mayor Pro Tem, members of the commission, in, I think, November, we had a presentation from New Gen Solutions presenting their wastewater study analysis that they did on our system. The city had asked that they find that we look at our costs to make sure that our costs were in line with our ability to pay the debt load that we had. So they came forth, they provided the presentation. We put the presentation back in your packet. On the particular day that they were here, their final document was not in the packet. And so Commissioner Fall had asked that we get the final document before the commission moved to either acceptance of the report is necessary just to close out the grant and the grant agreement. But before you move, our intent here would be that we'll conduct a couple of public hearings on the rate study. Our intent would be that if the commission so chose to move to this particular strategy, that it be implemented in our new budget cycle so that it would become active July 1st, 2026. And then after some discussion with some of you, I know that rate increases is a very difficult situation. So we'll take the time to look to see what we can do somewhere in between this, right? And the consultant did provide us multiple looks at different styles. We just settled on what was the most reasonable that got us to a baseline to cover our debt. So you could see that And currently, the rates do go up at a rate of 3 at CPI on an annual basis. So you can't look at this rate and say, we're going to go up a total of 8%. We're already going to go up 3% every year. So we'll work to present something that might be softer than this and more necessary, and then certainly this, but we'll conduct some public hearings to allow the public to come in and look through this and break this down and give us some feedback on this as well.
So what would is our action accepting this
Just
or,
accepting the report from the
and
consultant.
then it's just going in and then we're gonna move,
Right.
Then we'll move.
they'll move forward.
That's
with that.
correct.
You're approving the study, but you're not
Not-
obligated to do anything beyond that.
Okay,
Yes,
so
all
just
you're,
approving this,
Yes.
not saying. we're-
That's correct.
right.
Okay,
That's important because those numbers scare you.
yeah. Well, we all sat here.
Yeah.
Wanted to like.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll make a motion to
Oh, yeah.
approve the acceptance of the water and wastewater cost of service and rate design study.
And I would add, the last piece, Casey, keeping me up. We're also under an administrative order from the federal agency, Environment Department, and they want to see an updated rate study. So the acceptance of this would then allow us to then send this off to the administrative order as we've done our study. Here's what the potential rates would be. So it would go
And
into
if
our
you-
administrative. And I have until February 2nd to get that report.
We like them down. Good.
If you remember our discussion at the New Mexico Municipal League, we were pretty much told that enterprise funds should be self-sufficient and you shouldn't be borrowing from one to pay off another. So we're gonna have to make this thing work one way or the other, and we need to figure that out. So hopefully we'll come up with some strategy over the next little while to mitigate some of these costs, and we'll work toward that. And again, all we're doing is accepting the study, but we're not acting on the study.
Correct, okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. Honorable Ingo Hopner.
Aye.
Honorable Chaz Gliding.
Aye.
Honorable Ralph Esper.
All right,
Honorable Amanda Forrester.
Aye.
Honorable Jessica Mitchell.
Aye.
carried unanimously. Item G6, discussion action, Art and Public Places Selection Committee. It's just the city manager, Oliver, is again.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Commissioners. With our recent capital outlay that we had received for our wastewater treatment plant as well as for our police department, the state allocated some funds within that to go towards art and public places. I think you guys are familiar with this from the previous animal shelter fund. We had art and public places. So the New Mexico state that oversees the art and public places deems that we have to come up with a selection committee. And so I'm coming to the commission today so that you can maybe give me some directive on how we'd like to pursue making selection of that committee. I did give some possible structures within my agenda request form, noting that the main thing is one of the key members has to be a signatory authority, which would be attending the selection committee on the grant side of things. So we would need to designate at least the mayor or city manager as one of the committee members. And then my request would be for the commission to maybe decide who else they'd like to have, whether it be additional commission members, looking out at our arts council, arts boards, members of the public, and then how you would like that selection process to go. If you want them to submit letters of interest, we solicit letters of interest and then accept those to a certain date, then we bring those a solicit, or do you want to read the letters of interest, just sort of the overall process and how you would like to do that. A couple of little things to keep in mind is anybody on the selection committee will have to sign a conflict of interest form. They really need to have access to a computer or tablet that's large enough to see the pieces of art and also be able to access a very heavy PowerPoint things that come in. It doesn't access well on a telephone. I think we had that issue last time with one of our members. And then everything that would be reviewed and discussed within that committee is not public information until we go through the final selection process with the state and the selection committee submits to them. And once they approve that art is available, then it would come back to the commission. Within your packet, you also have the art that was selected in the very first round. So with that, I'll let you guys discuss how you'd like to proceed.
I have a question, a couple of them. We have 15,000 to be used, is that what I'm reading?
We have, 15,000 with the two new ones. We've already selected the art from the other one. So we have an additional, we had 10,000 out of our million
Okay,
from wastewater.
and those are going to be in the police department, the new.
Correct.
Work, okay. How many, and I've looked on this website, I've seen the PowerPoint, 15,000 goes really, really quickly.
Yeah.
It's like 3 pieces. But, how many members have to be on the board?
There's no set amount.
Just has to kind of, okay,
The state doesn't designate how many.
just the
I will just
signatory.
caution, too many cooks in the kitchen makes for longer decision making, but you also want to have a good group to make some selections.
So obviously our number has to be either mayor or city manager, you'll already be there, correct?
Yeah, I would like to be on the grant side of things and not somebody selecting the art, but just overseeing it.
And then 1 or 2 commissioners, I don't mind doing that if nobody else wants to. And then the public art board, is that where we would want to, like, public art board member?
So these are only my recommendations. It's really how you guys could designate, they can only be public art members. You could designate, we only want commissioners or public. Those are just kind of some breakdowns.
As mayor, certainly I will be the signatory authority and I'll be glad to serve. Is there any commissioners that would like to serve? Okay.
So,
Okay. So there's 3. Now, at the beginning, when we had public comment, we had Stacy and Shanoa. They will, yeah, I didn't get their last names, so
On the,
Arts Council. Maybe we could reach out to them and that might fill it out, unless we want to open it up to the public and let them submit letters.
I think coming from the public arts board is plenty.
I think that's fine. I think if we're good representations, I'm happy with it.
I think that the chief of police should have or him already designated, sir, and just ask him which one he would want.
I'm sure he probably wouldn't.
Yeah, we get him involved. So does that give you enough?
Sure, you're looking at 3 commissioners, 2 from the art council, and then the chief of police.
Yes, ma'am.
Or designate. It's like, he wants to.
Together.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would maybe consider that is kind of an even number, if we could potentially add the city manager as an additional member.
Sounds great.
And that gives us an odd amount, just so if we need to go into a majority selection, we can.
4 to 3.
And I also want to say that the 1 to 2 members of the public include local artists, both Shanoa and Stacy are.
Yes.
So they would
Yeah.
for both.
Yeah, we're just gonna have those. And I guess we should have them put a letter of support from their board, so they like, or just, are we accepting them in right now? Or does their board need to like,
It's not public arts, it's like council, so I don't know what their structure or rules are. For our arts.
right, I would,
Well,
yeah. I would like to just see if they're bored, so that they're not coming in here like about their boards.
I would think the right mayor, members of the commission, the right thing would be to reach out to those 2 and have them come into the clerk's office and fill out any form that we would have for being on any board of service. We'll bring them in and then we'll formally, accept them. That's the right thing. So we have all their contact information.
Could we also ask them for just like a letter of support from their board?
Sure.
Like that their board wanted them, not that they're jumping the gun and just overstepping any other members.
a recommendation from the board that
Yeah.
those 2 serve. I think that's a good catch.
Okay.
If we have 3 commissioners, do I have to worry about the Open Meetings Act, the quorum issue? I'm trying to think about really how we would address this.
We just have to put
We could just proper notice and stuff for like any regular meeting, I guess.
So, yeah, they'll be reviewing and looking at art separately, and realistically, we potentially only be holding 2 meetings where everybody would be together. And that would be one, the internal discussion over everybody's selection, and then the secondary with the state meeting where they officially select the art. So I can make sure that Angela has the potential quorum if that's required for this.
if it's gonna be a big deal, like Chad can just do it. I don't.
also thinking also now is, I wouldn't mind having a member of the public, because I do know a lot of local artists. And I know they have a great grasp on art itself or in public places, even they could be a great like asset. I wouldn't mind keeping them for the public and us taking letters from people coming onto this board.
Mayor, if I could comment, members of the commission, I think the also thing to remember is the art gallery inside the police department. It's going to be kind of specific. We've worked through that. We kind of know what we want. We want to share that with the committee, right? That the intent is, to use this art as permanent art, and then it's going to have a way to rotate art and do other things in there. Part two is the art that has to be selected is coming from a specific set of inventory. So it's not necessary you need a variety. You just need someone that's going to be able to look through that specific set of inventory and match it up to the vision that the chief has kind of come up with and that we've talked through to make that center of the police department an art gallery. So we do need some looks, but it could also be too much, and it's not going to be open. I think if I'm understanding, it's kind of be disappointing because if you're not in that, if you've not applied to have your art included in the art in public places,
Right.
we don't have the ability to say we really want that person's art and we want to pay for it with this fund.
Right.
You've got to be in the system. You have to be part of that organization. They have their rules. So I like more of the public than administration for sure. I mean, I definitely think we need somebody with an eye to that. So, I support Commissioner Glines on that. I would be happy to sit aside and have a member of the public, so we don't have a quorum and we have more members of the public. So.
Well, you're not part of the quorum with me.
Yeah, I got it.
We'll meet
So
us three. So I'm fine to step away. Somebody else can, you two can have at it, and then we don't have to worry about quorum notices.
And I was trying to discourage.
So we'll have Commissioner Glines, Mayor Heschler, Stacy and Shanoa from the Public Arts Board with a letter of support from the board, Chief of Police or designee, and City Manager Whitehead.
So Shanoa and Stacy are not part of the public art.
Okay, then I want to.
But that's what I'm saying. So are you like our board?
No.
No.
Scratch that.
All right.
Kate's comments were, we have the Public Arts Board.
Right.
Those two are not representatives of the 5 members of that committee, but they are a member of the Arts Council, which is a separate organization.
That's fine, as long as.
That's
they get a
good.
recommendation from the council that is in support of them serving on this
Absolutely.
advisory board, that would be
I think
great.
that would be good. So we don't skirt around the board itself.
Bingo.
Okay.
And what I was thinking about, we could add in your motion that it would either come those two with that recommendation, and if it didn't happen, then potentially we could go back to our arts board and pick up 2 members of that board to replace, right? Something like that. We could look at that later, but.
Angela, would you go over the motion again for us, please?
Okay, so we have Commissioner Mayor Heschler, Stacy and Shanoa from the Sierra County Arts Board with a letter of support from their board, or we could take it to our Public Arts Board if those 2 are not recommended, and then the Chief of Police or designee and City Manager Whitehead.
Okay, so we know the motion. So anybody want to make that motion?
I will make the motion to approve all of those people to serve on that board,
Second that. Have a motion and a second, Ms. Torres?
serve on that committee, sorry.
Honorable Ross Heschler, Honorable Amanda Forrester,
Aye.
Honorable Destiny Mitchell, Honorable Ingo Hopner, Honorable Chaz Glines.
Thank you.
Move on to item G7, key governing board, body board members and 1 alternate member to serve on the Sierra Vista Hospital Joint Powers Commission. Seems like we already did this not too long ago, but since we have a new governing body per se, we can go through this process again. As the mayor, I would love to continue serving on that board, and I'm sure that you would want to. And who wants to serve as an alternate, if anyone does?
I can be the alternate.
They don't agree, not it.
I'll be the alternate for everything.
So,
Well, we need to get Chad on. They joined.
there's opportunity.
There's a lot, Destiny, did you read your agenda?
All right, I think that's pretty easy. If we're all in agreement, let's have a motion.
I make the motion to appoint
Mayor Heschler and Commissioner Hefner as the two members and myself as the alternate member to the JPC.
Second that.
Second, Ms. Norris.
Honorable Chaz Glidden.
Aye.
Honorable Ralph Hessler.
Aye.
Honorable Ingo Hofner.
Aye.
Honorable Amanda Forster.
Aye.
Honorable Destiny Mitchell.
Aye.
Carries unanimous. Item number 8, discussion action, appointment of governing body board member and 2 alternate board members to serve on the South Central Council of Governments.
So, you still want to stay on that one?
You know what, I'll stay on that board if you're okay with it.
Yes.
I've been to every board meeting, passed on the information to us. I think it's an important connection and networking type thing. And I don't mind taking an alternate with me from time to time.
Our alternates right now are Mayor and myself.
Okay, and so, I mean, we can have representation. We end up going different places, but the meetings are only quarterly. So if you're okay, and if you guys are okay with me continuing to serve, I'd be glad to. And Commissioner Hefner, if you'd like to be the alternate, that'd be.
Do we have to have 2 alternates?
You don't.
Okay, cool. Let's just appoint Mayor Heschler member for the SCOG and Hefner as the alternate.
Have a motion. Did we have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Ms. Norris.
Honorable Amanda Forster.
Aye.
Honorable Destiny Mitchell.
Aye.
Honorable Ingo Hofner. Chaz Glidden.
Aye.
Honorable Ralph Hessler.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Item number 9, discussion action, appointment of a governing board member and an alternate board member to serve on the Regional Planning Organization. I'd like to continue serving on the Regional Planning Organization since I'm the chairman.
Do the alternate on it.
Okay,
Can you make the motion to appoint Heschler as the board member for the Regional Planning Organization and Commissioner Glines as the alternate?
I'll second.
okay, I have a motion and second. Ms. Norris.
Honorable Chaz Glidden.
Aye.
Honorable Ralph Hessler. Honorable Amanda Forster. Honorable Destiny Mitchell.
Aye.
Honorable Ingo Hofner.
Discussion action, appointment of governing board body member to serve on the Sierra County Recreation and Tourism Advisory Board.
Here's your time to shine.
Well, and I just want to chime in that Kim Skinner actually called Rolf and myself and asked me if I would step in, but I would like to see if Chaz would be the alternate.
The alternate for it.
You can still attend.
I'll make a motion to approve Commissioner Mitchell as the appointee to the, yeah, that's that, and Commissioner Glines is the alternate.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Ms. Norris.
Honorable Destiny Mitchell.
Aye.
Honorable Ingo Hofner.
Aye.
Honorable Chaz Glidden.
Aye.
Honorable Ralph Hessler. Honorable Amanda Forster.
Item number 11, discussion action, appointment of governing board, a governing body board member to serve on the Hornado Resources Conservation and Development Council. ICND.
So I'm currently the representative for that. They also meet quarterly. Mary Jo is the secretary of it. So I mean, I don't mind going and continuing in that role, but if someone else wants to take it on, I'm more than willing to step down.
I don't know if anybody else knows any more about it than you do, but we'll entertain any discussion.
I'm more than willing to continue.
Anybody else want to serve? Hearing none, I will make a motion. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve Commissioner Mitchell to serve on the Coronado RCND.
I'll get that.
Honorable Ralph Hessler.
Aye.
Honorable Amanda Forster.
Aye.
Honorable Destiny Mitchell.
Aye.
Honorable Ingo Hofner.
Aye.
Honorable Chaz Glidden.
Last item, I'll take, discussion action request to advertise for a city representative to serve a 2-year term on the Sierra Vista Hospital Governing Board. As you know, that Cookie Johnson passed. This will be the position that she was in. She did text me about 10 days ago and told me she had some health concerns and that she wanted to step down from the board. So I would like to open up to the community to allow anyone that is interested in serving on the hospital board to submit a letter, and then we'll put that on the agenda for the next meeting, and we'll make our selection at that time.
Did the people who submitted the letters to us last time, did they get picked up from everybody?
Yes.
All entities?
I did the research, everyone got picked up. that pretty much wanted to by one of the other entities. And so I did reach out to a couple other folks that may not picked up. They're going to submit letters, and then we make our selection based upon what we receive.
Week, paper two and Thursday, and then I'll have Terry post it too.
Okay. Perfect.
Make a motion to advertise for the city representative to be published, and we'll accept letters. Perfect.
Got it.
A second that.
Honorable Amanda Forster.
Aye.
Honorable Dustin Mitchell.
Aye.
Honorable Ingo Hopner. Honorable Todd Blind.
Aye.
Honorable Rob Heatherly.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. All right, that concludes our regular meeting. I'd like to have a motion to move into executive session, which is item 1, limited personnel matters, city manager, pursuant to 10-15-1 H2.
And make a motion to move into executive session.
Okay, that's with the regular meeting, and we will go into executive session in a couple minutes.
Who seconded it?
Nobody did.
I second that.
Okay.
Pick somebody.
Who's with the artists, the mayor,
Can I run to the restroom?
Yes, and I'm gonna attend
chief,
for executive session unless you can pay.
or just somebody. Not 100% of the two ladies. Stacy.
Stacy and Shanoa.
Spell their names. Stacy.
I don't know their last names. I just know it's Stacy.
Stacy